need to talk about this. This right here. What am I doing right now? Well, I'm playing the Summit. What's going on, boys? My name is Sid, and there's something that Ivory Tower has constantly been doing this update that I have to bring up. Exhibit A is this event right here. Come on. Nice. Originally, this is a chase event where you're in a police car and you're chasing a rival who's normally in a regular car, and normally you take them down, but this time around, it's a demolition derby car and you're actually taking him down like it's a fight in Demo Royale. They literally made Demo Royale the event type. Whoa, okay. God, monster trucks in this game, they're fun, man. I'm glad this is a summit that brings them into play, because I feel like they're one of the overlooked things in this game. Come on. But essentially what they've done here is they've completely reused the rival event type and changed it to be this chase event for a demo versus monster truck event. Whoa, he got done there. Damn! And there's 2 events like this that I'm aware of in this week's summit to match this monster truck theme. And that's what I want to talk about. Now, yes. This is a dreaded, get this, positive rant video. Gosh, on current day racing games, talking about something positive? Head down there and subscribe, by the way. I don't know what happened this update, right? The summit never felt unique to me. It never felt like it was fine, but look, I was happily skipping summits. Happily. And summits just never felt like they hit, especially not early game. Maybe early when they were themed on the locations, but especially like the Hoonigan theme. Like you could've, okay, this one's electric specifically, to be fair, so I guess electric is the theme. But you could have jumped into so many of these summits, and I just never connected with them. They just felt so, I don't know, nothing is probably the word, and that sucks. We shouldn't be dealing with summits that feel nothing. They just didn't feel like the Crew 2. The themes didn't feel as cared for. Tell you what, the Hoonigan being 3 months straight of Hoonigan didn't help. This Red Bull update definitely did that way better. Although it's all Red Bull, this update, they've fantastically kept the themes at least diverse. But I can't say the summit felt like anything. Maybe certain ones like the tribute events, because it was Crew 1 and Crew 2 themed, and that's about it. The rest of them, I don't know, the main stage legacies felt nice. Like, this did feel like a Japanese main stage legacy, this did feel like European, but then the main stage legacies got even messier, like Liberty Walk, Custom Cars, Toge, Halloween, also Nissan, Racing, Forsberg Hoonigan, Famous Things in the Crew, Christmas? And then whatever the hell this mess of a main stage legacy was. I think a large part could possibly have been the very system that they added to make the summit technically more unique every week, that I think inadvertently ended up maybe stripping a bit of the uniqueness of the summit every week. See, where normal events look like this, and say this were the Crew 2, every event would then in turn also look like this. It would be the exact same, with the props and everything. And then this sort of massive feature that they added, reconfiguring events, where each event can be switched to the current theme, kind of made, well, every event just feel like it was a set of roads. Instead of having that uniqueness anymore, it just had the artwork swapped out and everything unique stripped off. Now, I think that could still be changed. I still think they could do something like every week gets some kind of unique prop, but I think that might be way too much work to add on, but I think that would definitely help. I think these yellow and white barriers need to start getting recolored to the current week's color rather than being yellow and white, because that's another contributing factor to reconfiguring events, just stripping all the identity. And I think more unique stuff needs to be done. Like, sure, the flags and the balloons can have, some of them can have the logo of the current week, but maybe some of them have something more unique. E.g., in Halloween, the balloons could have been pumpkins. But something changed this season. Something shifted in what the summits well, how they worked, and a lot of the systems of how they worked adjusted too. See, where the summit was originally only and just reconfigured original events, they started shifting. Something people noticed, and because it's very here and there, it's not like easy to tell every time they've done it, but this thing that was noticed was that they started being able to change the amount of AIs that are in a race. They started being able to change even what type of a race is. They changed some, I think it was like race events against another person into outrun the clock events and stuff like that. And already that's so unique. And I'm going to be using Rhino's videos here because I don't keep a log of the summit. So, shout out, first of all, shout out Rhino. I'd recommend him with my personal stamp of approval for summit guides. Second of all, excuse the ugly ass cars and bikes and customization. But also shout out Rhino, but also please excuse the ugly ass cars. I love you, Rhino. Don't worry about it. Who puts on pink lightning smoke? This isn't the Crew 2. This is a big boys racing game, okay, Rhino? We don't use the cartoony, goofy stuff, okay? Okay? But this is where I first started noticing that the summits became a lot more fun, in a way, when they did this motorcycle-themed one. First of all, just for unique stuff like North Shore Enduro, which Enduro bike racing is exactly that. We have a Supercross labeled event, which again is exactly this. But one of my favorite ones, and it's just this idea of homage they've been doing with these summits and theme that they've been doing, was Isle of Oahu. This event is an homage to the Isle of Man, and it uses this event over here, which goes around in a circle, this little smaller attached island to Oahu. And I know that's not equivalent to being the Isle of Man, but it's a really nice touch to have an Isle of Man homage in a motorcycle racing themed week. I mean, 2 vs 4 is an obvious one, because in 2 vs 4, we were racing in, again, rival events, but they reconfigured the rival events to be, well, to be anything, just something that isn't the original rival. I didn't even know they were able to change what car a rival event is up against. I was worried when we first started getting rival events in the summit last update that they could only be up against the original car, but that wasn't the case. And then we get this incredibly unique styled summit where it's cars v bikes actually as rivals in open world races. And traffic was off for this. So people complain about the rival events having traffic in the summit, but it's to match the theme. The thing about traffic in summit skills is that's nothing to do with the theme. In fact, I don't even think skills should be in the summit anymore, but that's a really controversial opinion. But you can see that they can turn off rival traffic, but the whole fact of rivals is that they're open world with traffic because, you know, rivals. Apex opening, as cringy as it may be, it did feel like F1 came to Maui for like a Maui Grand Prix or whatever. Because Apex opening had so many events following the theme. One thing obviously was that, you know, it was silly that it was like qualifying formation laps, but they were all on different tracks. But obviously the summit would have been a lot less fun if it was one car, one track, all of them. Then again, it would have been interesting. And they did this new modifier thing with the first person only and pro racing modifier, where you had to do the whole summit in also time of days that went forward as the day progressed, as the events progressed, and first person, no NOS, pro racing, basically. God damn it, man. Pro racing realistic modifier. And this guy has neon blue tires and blue lightning smoke. What are we doing here, Rhino? I imagine you guys all remember Aerial Circus, as it had the jet loaned events, letting you guys fly the jet, everyone fly the jet for free the day it was added. But then also, this is one of the most unique events in the entire game, because it's a boat event converted to helicopter, something impossible in the general game. So they're genuinely doing like a fully unique event, never seen before in-game. In the Summit now, by putting events in cars where you can't normally do the... I love this. I really enjoy this. I wanted to make this video to genuinely rant about, like, gosh, the Summit team has been doing really well. Look, I won't pretend like they haven't had some stinkers, you know? There's been some bad ones even this update, where I thought they'd been doing so good. Forest Quest felt confused because it was Forest Quest, except, like, only 20% of the whole event was in a forest. But Coastal Adventures was fine, I think. There was just way better events. You're telling me the event called Coastal Adventures didn't have... I know where it is. This event in it? The event called Coastal Adventures didn't have this event. Are we kidding? And don't even get me started on Bulls and Trials. It just feels like they really don't want to do a fully off-road theme. They don't want to commit to fully off-road. Now, I can't really blame them. Whenever, like, an update was off-road themed in the Crew 2, it always felt, no. But it gets kind of funny how strongly they don't want to commit to doing an off-road week or update or whatever when you do the main stage config. And it's like, oh yeah, monster trucks. It's the monster truck week. Play monster trucks. Fine, but you can use the Rimac Navira if you want. Fine. This gets even more subtle though, and it's just the, like, little bits of naming. In fact, no, let me go back to Aerial Circus for a second. So, one thing that confused me about Aerial Circus immediately was the naming scheme of Aerial Circus. Because one of the events in Aerial Circus was Patroele de Hawaii. But I was like, that. Oh my god, I butchered that. I'm so sorry to anyone in France or from Ivory Tower watching. But I was like, huh, that's funny. They forgot to translate an event. That's not the case. Patroele de Hawaii is based on the same thing, but France. Their own, what's the British ones called? Their own version of the red one, Royal Arrows, is it the Red Arrows? Their own, like, French jet stunt team. And it's based on that, was the nickname there. That doesn't stop. You didn't hear that. As one of the events in the Koenigsegg Selection Summit was European Route E45. And that specific event is done in potentially the worst looking 110 I've ever seen. Rhino! But it's a big long event in just highways and tunnels. Just highways, tunnels, highways, tunnels. And Route E45 is this big, long... I mean, maybe it's known to people. I didn't know it, but I imagine it is. I just like the reference, though. It's this big, long, massive route through Europe that just goes from the top to all the way to Sicily, from the top of Northern Europe. Like, that's pretty cool. I don't know. I like that reference. I like that touch, you know? In like, just randomly in the Koenigsegg Selection week, like, right? Like, not even in, like, the European week. In just Koenigsegg Selection. An event which you could have done in Agenda the Edgy. But what I like most about all of this is that all of these are going to become main stage legacies. You see it especially in the Rally Beasts one, where all of the events were rally themed, like places. We've got Rhino, did you timecode this wrong? Why has it got the Isle of Oahu? Why has this got the motorbike update timecodes? Tut, Rhino. Did you get caught slacking? Oh no, they're timecoded correctly. You just didn't name the events correctly. Damn it, Rhino. Now I'm gonna have to... Azores Rally, Targa Rally, Rally San Remo, D915 Road Rally, Corsica Rally, Bio Rally. I can search any single one of these and it comes up with a location's specific type of rally. All of these different, like, locations, all of these, there you go, the Bovington Targa. I believe they're locations of rally, or are they types? I want to say they're locations. But, again, regardless, what a fun little bit of referencing. In fact, what this does to me is it makes me upset that only 2 of the events are going to be in the main stage legacy, right? I guess it's fair because, you know, you can't have all the events in it unless you could. But it just... maybe it might just be me, but I love the summit feeling like a weekly playlist. Am I crazy for that? Like, I love the summit when it feels like a weekly, like, look, yeah, events-wise it might be fun, or events-wise it might be competitive or difficult, but I just prefer it when, like, you jump into it and it's like, oh yeah, this feels like a forest adventure, even though this one didn't. It feels like a monster truck, whatever. It feels like motorbikes. It feels like rally. It feels like I just prefer vibes, man. I'm such a vibes guy, clearly. And that's what Motorfest has made me realize, that I am all vibes. I realize it in the games that I play now as well, that I'm just a vibes guy. There's definitely some things that I think are still bad about the summit. I think that, oh god, there's one drastic change that I think could be made to the summit, but I think competitive players would be rather upset about it. But you know, I think the sub rewards are lacking, especially compared to the Crew 2. I think that the McLaren week was really badly done because they didn't get rid of the theme of the original events, so they're just like blue and they're like yellow painted like Mexico theme events for some reason. I think that the themes are sometimes weirdly disconnected. Like, this was Island Rush, and only one of the two sets, one set of weeks have anything to do with the two islands. I think that the artwork, the artwork should be featured in the main stage legacy. There is some gorgeous bits of artwork that they do, like this right here, right? The big image. There's some brilliant bits of artwork they do, but unless it's this one, it just never gets seen again. There's a backlog of all of that artwork that just never it comes up again. They only use it for the final one. And then the rest of them use just the generic, like, stylized image. But that's also used at the top, and that's also used as the thumbnail for the main stage legacy, and it's also used in the trailer, and it's also used once the trailer is finished. Like, we've seen the pattern stuff, okay? We've seen this. I get it. We've seen it, okay? Now bring the artwork back for at least one of the events each week, right? Because that feels like it makes sense. Because that's how the regular events in game work as well. They're the gameplay images. And the artwork, sure, not always gameplay, but at least fit the gameplay theme better. Right? There was a gorgeous, gorgeous picture for Island Delight, and that picture's presumably never going to be seen again. And now that we're on the main stage legacy, I'm sorry, but I want them to add the vanities that came in the main stage legacy. I know I bring it up every time. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Some more extra things that I think can be done is definitely like, well, first of all, there's more that I missed that I do like. Like, the names that they use in the summits are always like fun. When they choose like a specific genre of name, whether that be famous drivers from this country or drivers of this thing, and like MotoGP drivers or stunt drivers and stuff like that. That I often think is unique and fun as well. Like that one where they did like Henchman 1 through 7 and then the Big Boss was fun. What is this? What event is this? Oh, is it what event is this? Oh, the rally event from the it's the rally event, I think. God, it feels so different to what it normally is like. Yeah, this is where we take the motocross route. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is it's called Monster Truck Homework or something, and it's in the school bus, and it's one of the complete the point events. I complained earlier that I didn't like that they were using the point events in the summit. This is fun. This is fun. I like this, okay? Because, this works. The other one doesn't. I don't want to use the Raptor monster truck in a point event, but this works, okay? I gotta admit, this one's fun. Get rid of the yellow and white barriers, god damn it. Oh, and here's one thing. Why don't they use the multiple spec events? They haven't, like, ever used events that switch between two cars, but I feel like that could be used for the theme so much. And they used to use them in the Crew 2, have the events where you would switch from one car to another. So I don't know why they don't, when you can, yes, they don't count in the custom mode, but you can, in-game, use the switcher events just in general. Like, so I don't know why they don't use them, at least for the loaned events, right? Like, they'll use Follow the Photos, they'll use Outrun, they'll use Chase, they'll use Rival Race, they'll use everything, but they just don't use any event where you switch from one vehicle to another. And I feel like that's actively to their detriment, because there's so many fun ideas they miss out on. You're telling me, right, they did a Crew 2 homage week, right? Like a full week that was, oh, and the Crew 1, but a full week that was Crew 1 and Crew 2 homage, and they picked just a plain event. Where is it? Plain event for the Crew 2. When there's an event in this game that is a car, then boat, then plane event. Might go down in history as one of the biggest missed opportunities in the Crew franchise to not use the car, the boat, and the plane event in a summit. They could have made it loaned, and it loans to what would the 3 cars have been? Oh, it should have been the Porsche, right? The one that's in all of those promo images. This, but imagine it's just bone stock orange, right? There you go. Imagine it's that, and then, you know, just 2 of the like iconic, the boat and the plane from the Crew 2. And it would have made such a better Crew 2 event, man. Ivory Tower, especially with how many events in the summit are loaned nowadays, find a way to start implementing vehicle switching events into the summit. Because there's a whole host of events, so many events that you're just missing out on. So many themes that you're missing out on. Like, you know, they do so many customizer themes. What about a customizer theme where the cars get customized during the event, all loaned, and all the cars get customized in the events through the switcher events? Damn it. To add to it all is that, like, I like something that a lot of people don't care about, and I only know this because my videos on it don't do as well and often end up in the fad catalog, but the weekly free car at Gold. Like, every week, if you buy the cars to do the summit, which obviously, yeah, you have to pay for those cars, but then that also lets you do the challenges, which make you 500,000 extra bucks, and then also submitting the custom show, which can give bucks every now and then also the bucks that you get from the summit as well. Like, I think one of these has 200,000 extra from here, right? So you get all these bucks from doing the summit, but also then you get a free car every week. I like that. Again, it just adds to the theme, and it adds to this idea of it being like a weekly playlist. Is that a crazy thing to call the summit? I love that the summit feels like a weekly playlist. Like, crazy thing to say. I maybe even wish the summit had voice lines, right? Obviously, they turn off when you turn off other voice lines, but I wouldn't mind, like, a person every week who's just sort of giving me like a rundown. Maybe only put it in 2 events so that obviously then it can go to the main stage legacy. But like then the main stage legacy feels all whole because every event has a voice lines. But like in 2 events, have them just explaining something about the theme. Put me in the theme a little bit. Obviously, don't make it like a hero, or like a JDM playlist. People, make it someone likable, someone who genuinely is just like excited about cars and shit, and talks about whatever the current week is. I wouldn't mind voice lines, because I love the idea that the summit is a weekly playlist. You buy the starter cars, you play the events, experience the themes, and then when you come gold, or platinum for the last week one, you get a free car. Or, well, a no extra cost car. So, yeah, the weekly playlist idea of the summit, I really enjoy. I really do. It's like, it's a hidden, because a lot of people, it's almost hidden, right? Because a lot of people just play the summit and just experience the summit. Like, they just play it blindly and go, oh, that car on that track sucked. This car was actually good for this track. You know what I really hate? That I have to be competitive in the summit sometimes. Because sometimes I just want to experience it. That's why I wish I had 2 accounts, which I probably will eventually. The one where I play the summit to use all the meta cars, and one where I just play the summit and enjoy it, right? This one's all locked to specific cars. I love that. Now this summit is actually themed. But yeah, that's one extra thing, is that like, the theme of the summit. Some people play the summit just to do the competitive, when the point of the summit, yes, is the competitive aspect, but also the weekly theme aspect, the weekly playlist, weekly experience aspect of it, which is why I think voice lines would work so well in here, and stuff like that, you know? I don't know. Yeah, I've got some crazy ideas for the summit. Do I say them? I don't know if I say them, because they are crazy ideas. But yeah, I like the free car, because it makes it feel like a weekly playlist, and people don't realize that. Play it like that, and then go back through and use the competitive cars. Whatever. All of this to say, keep doing this. Keep doing interesting stuff in the main stage, in the summit, please. bring more of that into the main stage legacy. If an idea really hits, Ivory Tower, if an idea just goes hard, I dare say don't shy away from adding 3 events to the main stage legacy. Like maybe the F1 summit, right? Because it'd feel weird to just have, like, I don't know, qualifying the rate. Maybe it wouldn't, actually. That makes sense, kind of. But, like, on the, like, the rally one and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe add 3. But, yeah, the summit as a weekly vibe and a weekly experience makes me feel good about the future of the summit, you know? And I hope we get more stuff like that. I hope we get another theme that allows that. Red Bull was not the theme that I thought would bring variety. Who could have thought that the Red Bull, the closest comparison being Hoonigan, which had, like, some of the least variety when it came to the themes, who knew that Red Bull could be the one to bring this much variety to the themes? Damn, man. I'm looking forward to whatever's to come. Okay, positive rant over, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. That's gonna be about it from me. If you've watched this long, what do you enjoy? What's something in the game that you're like, okay, as much as the game is maybe bad here and here and here, this is kind of good? Let me know. All right, in a bit.